Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 29th August 2017. The first article, the Doklam standoff. The Doklam standoff between India and China has ended today. Diplomacy has taken the primary position over the war of words, and Mr. Modi is supposed to visit Xiamen for BRICS summit, and before that this issue was closed. Then a session is expected between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping, and the border dispute or some parameters for the settlement of the border disputes can be expected. And added to that, the Commerce Minister and the Chinese representative also has met on the trade deficit. It means both the countries are working to keep the things on track again. If you know, India has seen the Doklam from a strategic point of view, and China saw the Doklam from a sovereignty point of view. The Doklam as a border dispute is actually between China and Bhutan. As Bhutan and India have a cooperation agreement, India has to involve to protect the Bhutan's interest. And India also has involved because there are strategic interests. Chumbi Valley, Chicken Neck Corridor are just few miles away from this Doklam Plateau. Now, the article says that China and India step back. It is actually India which is taking the disengagement, and the terms of disengagement are not very clear. And as like in the past, this area will be patrolled by the Chinese forces, and Indian forces are going to come back to their Sikkim post. But the China will not build any motorable road which it was planning before the standoff. That is what we understand. Now when you go to the next article, he has explained agreeing to disagree. Both the countries stood to their stands and they agreed to disagree, and they wanted to play to their domestic audiences. In this case, the situation has got worse, and it is the new low in India-China relations. China stopped the Kailas Manasarovar Yatri's, and also the rhetoric and war of words have got really deepened. And second is, the special representatives made certain progress on the border dispute, and all the gains which we got through these talks are appeared to be reversed now. And 2013, Manmohan Singh, when he was the Prime Minister, an agreement was made, that is Border Defence Cooperation Agreement, and it is the time both the countries shall move forward in the spirit of this Border Defence Cooperation Agreement. So these are the points we need to understand. A right for the future. Now when you take this, here he is speaking about the legal jurisprudence and issues of that will not be relevant for us in the exam. And we have to see right to privacy and its evolution in India from the exam perspective. Now, the right to privacy, MP Sharma case is very much important, and then Kehar Singh case. In both these cases, the Supreme Court held that there is no right to privacy in our fundamental rights. And then, when it comes to the Govind case, Supreme Court has changed its stand, and it clearly told that yes, there is right to privacy, but however, it did not make it as a fundamental right. What it said is there is a penumbra, an encircling of the fundamental rights. From that flows the right to privacy. It means it failed to clarify the position of the right to privacy, and it tried to hint that it has connection with the fundamental rights. But the present judgment, the Supreme Court, that is in KS Puttuswamy versus Union of India case, Supreme Court has clearly held that the right to privacy is a fundamental right, and it has its locus standi in Article 21 of the Constitution, that is right to life and liberty. It flows from right to life and liberty. And yesterday's article we saw that still we have certain issues to be solved with this. One, is it a monolithic right or a composite right? What are the reasonable restrictions on that? And then, what about the non-state actors? How it will be enforced against the non-state actors? These questions are not yet answered by the Supreme Court. And then, diary of an unusual year. Demonetization Is it a failure or a success? How can we analyze rationally? We need to have statistical data. Who can produce and give those statistical data to us? The institution which is responsible for this is RBI. RBI initially was transparent but later became very opaque. Even after 8 months of demonetization, there is no answer or information, credible information flowing from RBI. And second thing is, RBI Governor Mr. Patel, he did not explain what is the role of RBI in this process. In this case, ultimately the demonetization has provided for political capital to the BJP, but it failed to, or it has eroded the institutional credibility of RBI. That's what this article is trying to say. So, from the governance perspective, for the short-term political gains, the long-term institutional credibilities shall not be compromised. Institutions are built over centuries and decades, and then if their credibility is lost, then sustaining the governance and democracy becomes difficult. That is the carry-home point for you. And then spot the similarities. India and Indonesia, they have many similarities over here. And Indonesia is the largest economy in Southeast Asia, and India is the largest economy in South Asia. Both of them are multi-ethnic, multilingual, plural societies. Now, it is Islam or a Muslim-dominated country. India is a Hindu-dominated country. But both of them, they want to keep their secular fabric intact. Both recognize secularism as equal treatment of religions rather than separating religion and state into watertight compartments. And second part over this is, India, on the other hand, has a strong secular fabric and also a democratic fabric, which is also the same case with Indonesia. But today, some intolerance is growing across these two countries. Either it is mob lynchings in India, blasphemy laws in the case of Indonesia. And in the Europe, it is believed that a nation state can only be sustainable if it is unilingual and has one single ethnicity. These two countries believe the same and are able to sustain as vibrant democracies. This growth of intolerance has to be arrested so that the things can move forward. The stories rocks tell. Now, rocks, hillocks, minerals, all these are our geological wealth. The geological wealth, it also means they contribute to a geological heritage, which is a non-cultural heritage of the country. So, quarrying and mining indiscriminately is destroying this non-cultural heritage of the country. That's what this article talks about. Now, docklands will recur, one army official. Unless both countries have a robust border management, then the docklam kind of standoffs are expected to come back, and which can bring the relations between the countries to the new low, which is not good for South Asia and which is also not good for China. And then in the last page I gave you the notes, and this notes is available to you at laix.in/civils-prep. Right. All the notes or all the answer scripts which I have to correct to you, September 5th is the last date, and I will deliver it to you by September 5th. Thank you very much and all the best. Some of the students were asking about 26th August newspaper, and now 25th being holiday at Hindu, there was no newspaper delivered on 26th. That's why 26th August news video was not done. Thank you very much and all the best again.